And welcome to a Greater You show here on IntellectualRadio.com. And I'm your host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt, here again on IntellectualRadio.com. We are at iHeart Station, and anywhere you get your podcast, you can also find us there. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spreaker, you name it, you can find us. Have shows here Sunday through Saturday during the day, morning, afternoons, evenings. So you can tune in and you can actually hear a lot of great shows. If this is your first time being involved with intellectual radio and also me as in regards to the shows I do, I would like for you to hit the subscribe button there at the bottom and also hit the bell so you'll be notified of some of the shows or all of the shows that we have going on a daily and also weekly basis. So again, I'm your host here at the Greater You Show, and this is a self-help show, a self-help book club, and a self-help coaching session all wrapped into one. So we're gonna do what we do. We are the station to help feed your brain. So I'm gonna do my part for this time to help feed your brain in regards to the topic that we're gonna talk about regarding self-help. So before we get started, I'm going to promote someone regarding their business. And if you'd like to be promoted on one of the shows I have here, a Greater You Show, or the other show that I host, Great Business Skills, get in contact with me at fullerpurposemedia@gmail.com. And then we would talk about it. Send you my information, and we can discuss it a little bit further if that's something you want to do. If your product or service fit into what I do, if it's about helping people, then you're 50% there already. So it has to be about helping people to some degree. Um, so the person I'm promoting today is Mr. Emmett Farmer. And are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or efarmer2, the number 2, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed again, in the state of Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in other states also. If you are 65 and older, or if you will become 65 within the next 6 to 12 months, please contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options to help you with that. Again, his number, Mr. Emmett Farmer number is 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425 or efarmer, the number 2, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. efarmer2 at ameritech.net. You will also get a free consultation by mentioning that you heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business here on the Greater You Show, hosted by Dr. Anthony L. Gantt here on IntellectualRadio.com, the station that feeds your brain. And again, we are at iHeart Station. So let's get into it. This is for those who all that may be new to me and new to IntellectualRadio.com, because I found out that I get new people listening to all the shows, so I don't take it lightly that you know where I'm coming from on today's show. So I always do a recap, but the way the show is set up, every we do a session or series, and it's on a particular topic, and obviously the topic is also based on a particular book that I wrote related to that topic. So this particular series is on self-esteem, how to build your self-esteem, and this is part 5 of this series. So this is our final part of this series. It is based off the book that I've written called I Love Me, Strategies for Building Healthy Self-Esteem. So I always do a recap. So I'm going to do a recap of what we have done thus far, and just to bring us up to speed. So the session 1, we talked about the importance of loving yourself. Came from lesson 2 from the book, and that it's important to love yourself, and that you need to tell yourself every day that you love you. Right? A lot of us don't get a lot of I love yous, even though we might have 2 or 3, 15, 20 people that love us. We don't get a lot of people that say I love you. So it's good that you tell yourself that you love yourself every day. It's not vain or anything like that, because you love you. That's a good thing if you love yourself. And if you love yourself more, you can love other people more as well. So we talked about the importance of that and how the word esteem itself, esteem, is actually means high value, right? So you already have high value. I have high value because we have esteem, right? So no one on the planet is without esteem. So that means self-esteem. So that means that we all have high value. So we also talked about it might not be a good idea to say low self-esteem, because it's like saying low self-high value, right? You already have high value. Now, it could have been damaged along the way in life, but that doesn't mean that you still don't have high value. And when we don't know that, sometimes we always operate in a low place because of the fact that we think we have low self-esteem, just because we have unhealthy or damaged self-esteem. So we talked about putting your price tag on yourself, not literally putting a price tag on yourself, but how people are only required to pay the price that you set on you. If you set a low price on you, you can't get mad if everybody else pay that price. You set a $20 price tag on yourself. Don't get mad if everybody paid $20. Nobody is required to pay more than $20 just because you stick $20 on you. So if you want actually to, but the first person to have to pay the price on this higher price tag is you. You have to set the price, then pay it, and then other people can follow suit. If they don't want to actually pay it, then that's okay because you don't have to be involved with them if they don't want to pay that price. So that's what we talked about pretty much in series one. Series two, we came from lesson three, and we talked about your mental stability and how that your feelings, self-esteem is really how you feel about yourself, how you feel, right? So when you talk about your feelings, you're talking about your emotions, your positive and negative emotions, good or bad emotions. So when people ask you, how do you feel, subconsciously, you go back in your mind or you think about it and say, I feel like this, and you respond. I feel good, I feel bad, I feel happy, sad, or whatever it may be. You select one of your emotions on where you are at that particular time. So we talked about the fact that your mental stability is based on your feelings about yourself. If you don't feel good about yourself, then it's kind of hard to be stable mentally or mentally stable, right? And after a while, if you keep feeling bad about yourself, it won't be long before your feelings about yourself or your self-esteem will start to erode and become less, so to speak, and then you will become more uh, unstable, and then you'll feel worse about yourself, right? Because self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. So you want to feel better about yourself. So then, session three, we came from lesson four, and we talked about your opinion matters. And a lot of times we live our life by the opinions of other people. And when we do so, we have this up and down life, so to speak, because now we got these fluctuating emotions. Then we got these fluctuating opinions of everybody else, mama, daddy, sister, brother, tall people, short people, old people, young people, people from the north side, people from the south side. So we trying to live out all these different opinions, and we don't do well by ourselves. And what I mean by ourselves, not alone, but we don't do ourselves right because we're trying to live by the opinions of so many other people. And this is why a lot of times when people, mom and dad, pass away, now son or daughter or whoever start living this life that's totally contradictory or opposite than maybe the life that they were living before. It doesn't mean that it was bad, but the only reason why they became a veterinarian, the only reason why they became an attorney is because mama wanted them to be an attorney. And if they didn't go and become an attorney, mama would have said you just a bum, you no good. So they became something for someone else because of the fact that they didn't live by their own opinion. So we talked about God's opinion about you first, your opinion about you second, and everybody else go three and beyond. So somebody can be 3, 4, 10, 25, 99, 444, right? Whatever it may be. But you always have spot two, and God always has spot one, right? That's just the way it goes. If you ain't put anybody else in those spots, what happened is you're gonna find yourself feeling worse about yourself. God's opinion about you is favorable. Your opinion about you must be favorable. Now, everybody else's opinion might change. They might like you today, don't like you tomorrow, right? They may love you today, may not love you tomorrow. Just the way it goes, right? You their best, you see somebody with a new baby, everybody love that baby. Kissing on that baby. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. He's so cute. Now, all that. 10 years later, boy, sit your butt down. Get out of the way, right? But isn't that the same baby 10 years ago, right? That was so cute and all that. Well, see, that's how people are, right? They can love you today, and 10 years later, they don't love you like that, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just a reality. So we talked about that. So last session we talked about how to forgive people, because see, we talked about suppressed hurt will always turn into express anger. So when you angry a lot, see, it's okay because some things in life will make you angry. That's not a bad thing. The thing is, we can't live our life being in anger. We can't just go every day being in anger. And when we do, that means we don't forgive people, because the more you love yourself, the more you forgive other people, right? You'll forgive yourself too. Because sometimes we do things so wrong that we don't understand that we're doing them wrong, and we don't forgive ourselves for something we did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, something we did at 9 years old as a child. And we've been carrying this along for the last 30, 40 years, and we haven't forgiven ourselves. And sometimes people do stuff to us too, and then we don't forgive them either. And sometimes these people die and go, and we still mad at them. They've been dead and gone 20, 30, 40 years. We still mad at them, still want to beat them up, but they gone. So in order for you to live in peace, you got to let some people rest in peace. And the way you do that is by forgiving people that may have done you wrong. And we also talked about three stages of trying to forgive people. You got to forgive people for what they did to you and what they know they did to you. Then you got to forgive people for what they did to you, but they don't know you know what they did. And then you got to forgive people for what they did to you that you don't really know what they did, but they probably did something, right? And the same thing goes with you, right? So it's not like it's one sided because I don't want you to think that you the victim and everybody else is, victimize you. No, you didn't done some victimizing yourself, right? This is how we go in this thing called life because we don't love ourselves a lot. So something I stated in one of the other sessions that people that love themselves the least will normally hurt you the most. It can be a parent, it can be a child, it can be a friend, it can be a spouse, it can be a significant other, it can be a grandmama and them, it can be neighbor, whoever it is. And if you're not loving yourself, then it won't be long before you start hating yourself. And if you hate yourself, then it won't be long before you start hating other people too. And then this hate is nothing more than anger again being expressed, right? So this is why people run around hating people all the time and going through life hating people because of their size, their height, their weight, their color, their gender, their age. They run around hating people. And all it shows is proof that they just don't have a lot of love in them because they haven't loved themselves, so they can't love you, right? So you can only give what you have. If you don't have it, you can't give it, right? And whatever you do have, you're gonna give it, right? So if you have a bunch of love in you, you're gonna give that. If you have a bunch of hate in you, you're gonna give that too. So your job is to love you for no other reason that you always gonna be stuck with you. There's nothing else you can do. You're gonna always be with you. So doesn't it just make sense to love the one you with, which is you? You're always with you. So love the person you with. Now, with that, I said a lot. Hopefully, that recap didn't go too fast or wasn't too long. I don't know. But that's just a recap of the first four sessions. So tonight, or today, we're going to talk about in this session. Um, we're going to talk about being healed from the pain, past pain, right? And the reality is, we all have been hurt. You, me, everybody on the planet. And the other reality is, we all have hurt somebody. You, me, we all have done it, right? So there's a lot of pain that we walk through in life. Sometimes we don't recognize we're in pain and don't recognize that's what we're doing for 10, 20 years until we look up 10, 20 years later and we got this lifestyle or this pathway that's just treaded with nothing but hurt that we've done to other people and other people have done to us. So when you understand that you need to love yourself more, what it would do is put you in a situation where you place yourself in better positions where other people can love themselves. See, where you have been loved the least is where you hurt the most. Any area where you hurt the most, it's just obvious you're gonna love you felt love the least there. This is why it's imperative that you love yourself because of the fact that if you go around and hurt, then you're gonna hurt other people most of the time unintentionally. Some people do it deliberately, but most people have a kind heart and they're trying not to hurt people. But when you're hurt, you got to do what you do because you can only get what you have, right? So if you have nothing but hurt, you got to go out and hurt everybody else you come in contact with. You got to hurt people at your job. You got to hurt people at your church. You got to hurt people in your neighborhood because of the fact that you're not loving yourself like you should. So once you love yourself, this is the only thing that can help you get healed from the pain. And if you don't love yourself, then the pain would be your director, so to speak. You're going to kind of move through life with this pain being how you manage your life. Now, we call it, I guess, pain management, right? But pain management just isn't good because pain management don't do anything but put you in more situations where you will be in more pain. This is what happens, okay? You are in a little pain. You get hurt. Let's give you a year. 18 years old. We get hurt at 18 years old. And then, you look up, maybe you got hurt by a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? You thought you love them. They meant the world to you. Y'all was going to get married. They were everything to you, everything, right? Went off to college or went off, whatever. And then next thing you know, they not everything anymore. Well, you not everything to them anymore, right? Or whatever it may be. So now you hurt. So now you say, I'm not trusting anybody else. I'm not gonna date anybody else. I'm not gonna get married to anybody else. I'm not gonna love anybody else because of what he or she had done to you at 18. Now that might make sense the day after it happened, 18, then the day after this thing happened to you. But now you're 28, right? And people can only come so close to you or get so close to you because you got this shield, this wall up to make sure folks only get so far in. And every year you building up on this wall, right? So this wall is getting taller and taller. Started way down there, but now the wall is taller than you. And the same wall you use to block people out is the same wall you use to block you in. So that means that you have isolated yourself. And only thing you're isolated with is the pain that you have. So it's a difference. See, love will insulate you, but lack of love would isolate you. This is why we start going on our own, and people don't see us for 6 months and knocking on the door. Where are you? Where are you? Calling your phone, can't catch you. All these different things because we have isolated ourselves because we are now hurt and we haven't gotten healed. So if you want to get healed from things, you're gonna have to love yourself more. It doesn't mean that you won't get hurt by people. It doesn't mean that you won't hurt people. However, what you're trying to do is love yourself more to prevent you from hurting yourself more and prevent you from hurting other people more, and then also put you in situations where people can love you more as well. So this is why loving you is not wrong. This is why loving yourself is one of the best things you can do for yourself. I have walked through this life and I'm still a young man. At least I try to tell myself that. So I talk to my children. They let me know I'm a little bit older than I think I am. But I realized one of the best things I've done for myself was learn how to love me. I have my ups and downs just like you have. And sometimes you just want to just kind of give up on yourself. And sometimes when you go through different situations, different relationships or whatever, sometimes you look at yourself and say, what's wrong with me? And when you don't love yourself, you always trying to find something wrong with you. Your head too big, your nose too big, or whatever, right? You're too tall, you're too skinny, you're too short, you're too fat, too dark, you're too light, you're too old, you're too young, because you're trying to find something for why you don't love you because of the situations you may have went through, and they may have been negative experiences with people or just negative experiences you had in general. Maybe your mama didn't tell you that she loved you a lot when you were 10 years old. So now you think all women are bad and you're 40, right? Maybe your daddy didn't tell you he loved you a lot when you were 10. So now you think all men are bad, and you're 45 years old. So what ends up happening is that if you don't get healed from the pain, then the pain doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger. And eventually it won't be long before the pain that you thought that was so small will start dominating your life all day, every day, because of the fact that it wasn't tended to get healed. See, and then what we get good at very, very, very good at running away from the pain. At least we try to run away from the pain. But see, you don't run away from pain. You get healed from pain. That's how pain go away. Pain does not go away by you running from it. And then we try to run away from the past. Maybe we did act a fool in our 20s, right? Maybe we acted a fool 20 days ago. I don't know, right? But then we're trying to run from that. Now, this is when we start getting into all these bad behaviors and everything because we're trying to run away from something we did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, right? But see, you can't run from the past. That's not your job. Your job is not to run from the past. Your job is to build from the past. And see, when you build from the past, then you can build a better present. At the same time, you're building a better future. But if you're running from yesterday, you're tearing down your present, meaning you're going to tear up your future all in the same time. So this is why love is so important. Because when you love yourself more, then love yourself more and more, what happens is you have more love for you, and that will help you produce more love from you. This is why everybody that's in your circle will be impacted by you loving yourself more. Your children will be impacted by you loving yourself more. Your parents will be impacted by you loving yourself more. Your spouse or significant other will be impacted by you loving yourself more. See, we try to love other people more because we get into this love starved type of situation because we didn't get love here or love there or got hurt here or got hurt there. So now we in this starved situation and we just needy, 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 needy. We got to sit up under people all day, every time of the day, every time of the night. I mean, folks can't get no air because we're so needy. We suffocate folks, right? Because we love, starve, and we never take the time to love ourselves to help fulfill that need of being loved, right? And then we can't love the people we want to, what we're trying to supplicate. We can't even love them because we don't even love ourselves. So when you get more love for you, again, you have more love from you. And that opens the door so you can receive more love from other people, right? And that also helps you see who has love in them that they can give to you. And also help you see who has a reservoir or have an opening so that you can give them more love. We're so love shocked, I call it like that, because people can come into our lives to give us a lot of love. It can be friends, it can be whoever, right? We get so shell shocked, so to speak, that here comes somebody trying to love me. What is wrong with you? Don't you know what I did when I was 25? Do you know what I did when I was 31? Do you know what happened to me when I was 14? And here's the reality. When people step into your life, they don't know that. They meet you at 49. They don't know what happened to you at 38. They have no idea until you tell them. right? But see, we automatically think you can't love me. Why would you waste your time loving me? Don't you know how bad I am? And then if someone asks you, why do you think you bad? And normally we would go by the opinions of someone else said to me. The last guy I dated said I was bad. The last woman I dated said I was bad. My ex-wife, ex-husband, my kids, my mama, my daddy, people across the street, people who went to college with me, right? We'd go all through all that stuff and say, that's why I'm bad, because of what those people have said about me. Now, hey, here's the thing. Everybody can have their own opinion. Everybody got an opinion. That's cool. But their opinion should not exceed or supersede your opinion about yourself. When they do, then that means that now you're going to start loving you less, right? So now here's the thing. I don't know. My children when they were young. I don't know if people still do this because my children aren't young anymore. But when they were young, obviously they could barely walk and all this stuff. So a lot of times they're on the floor, right? So when you want to play with a child that can't really walk or they just starting to walk, one thing you normally do, you get on the floor with them, right? And you play with whatever they doing, whatever they playing with, you play with them too. Because you squat down there and get in their life, right? Get to their level. Now let's suppose there was a 3-foot room, right? The ceiling was 3 feet high. You 6 feet tall. The only way you can get into that room is that you have to squat down and crawl on in. Now, this is what happened to a lot of people that don't love themselves, right? They got these 3 foot ceilings, right? And then you have to squat down and crawl into their life. Now, as long as you stay squat down and lay it all out and don't get over 3 feet, everybody love you. Everybody love you. You the bestest. You the bestest in the whole wide world, right? I know it's best, right? But you the best in the whole wide world, right? Because you're on their level. But just like that baby, if you notice, the moment you stand up and get up off that floor, the baby looking at you like, what's up with that? Right? And then it won't be long. A lot of times the baby start crying. Because you just stood up and kind of walked off, right? This is what happened in our life a lot. We have people that come into our life, want to give us a lot of love, but when they want to stand up, we get mad at them for wanting to be 6 feet tall. We don't, and what happens is a lot of times people come in our life trying to show us how to raise the ceiling that we have to 6 feet tall. Like how to raise the price on us from $20 to $40 to $100 to $500. But see, we're so bent on all I hurt. We said, I'm not going that high. I am not raising my ceiling up to 6 feet tall. Not so much so that person can fit. So that means that you have just gotten bigger because you love yourself more. So we just said, no, I'm keeping my 3 foot ceiling. You want to be in my life, you just have to squat down here 3 feet. But then we get mad when people say, I can't stand up in that 3 foot life you have going on. I need a 6 foot life for me to stand up. And you're qualified to have a 6 foot life too. Not for me, but for you. Because you're taller than 6 feet too, but you've been down here for these 3 feet in this 3 foot life or this room to stand up, even though you look too big. It's almost like going to kindergarten, first grade, and you sit in one of those chairs, man, they fit you when you're in first grade, but they don't fit you when you're about 40 years old. You like, how in the world somebody sit in that little old thing? You know what that means? Because you have grown. You're bigger than that. But unfortunately, when we don't love ourselves, we're trying to always get into these two small places with people, two small places in employment, two small places in jobs, two small places in neighborhoods and businesses. We try to find all these two small places that we can fit in, and we look ridiculous because we're bigger than that. But we don't know how to actually get out of that situation because now we blaming people. Why y'all put me in this 2 foot room? Why? No, the reason why you there is because you just don't love yourself as much as you should. And the more you love yourself, then that means that you putting yourself in a position to prevent you from hurting yourself. See, people that go out and hurt people, that's a statement, right? And it's true. But who they hurt more than anybody is themselves. They're walking around hurting themselves. See, they only see you once a day. They only see you once a week. They only see you once a month, once a year. And they hurt you the one day they see you out of the month. Could you imagine what they're doing to themselves on a daily basis? They hurt themselves by the hour. And this is when people want to escape their lives, right? This is when they're trying to find something else to drink, something else to smoke, something else to eat. Because they're trying to escape their lives. They run from one relationship to another. One job to another. They just kind of running around trying to run away from themselves. And all they have to do is get to the point and say, I'm going to love me even though I got this raggedy past. I'm going to love me even though I did these raggedy things. I'm going to love me even though I put myself in positions to allow people to treat me wrong. And that will help prevent you from treating other people wrong, treating yourself wrong in the future. Now, when we have a lack of love, what that does to us and put us in a situation where we have a lot of hate. And when we have a lot of hate, it's kind of hard to be humble. It makes us haughty, right? This is why we have a hard time seeking out help because, oh, sorry, because we're trying to actually, we're so haughty and so prideful, knowing we need help, we won't even seek it out. And the longer we go living this life, again, this hurt does not get smaller, it gets bigger. So that means when your hurt get bigger because you refuse to actually deal with it, your pride get bigger because you refuse to deal with the hurt that you have. So now asking for help is almost something you never do. You can't ask for help to do nothing. Can't ask for help with directions. Can't ask for help on how to cook a chicken. Can't ask for help on how to comb your hair. Nothing, because your pride has gotten so big. So pride is actually, now I'm not talking about pride like I'm proud that I graduated out of high school. I'm proud that I, whatever, right? Whatever you've done like that. I'm not talking about like that. This is this pride that we refuse to ask for help. And pride in some forms, it's like if someone hit you in the eye, right? And they hit you in the eye, immediately your eye will swell up, right? You have this swollen eye. And we know when we see you that you're in pain. Now, you might not be falling all over, but we know you hurt because your eye is swollen. And if somebody touch it, immediately, if you had anything swollen on you before and somebody touch it or you touch it, the first thing you do is, because it hurt. You make some type of noise. You move back. You jerk back, right? Because that swollen thing is hurt because it's sensitive to the touch. All right, so let's go back and look at people that love themselves, the lack of love, right? See, right when you touch certain areas, you say, hey, you know what? You short. They want to fight. Well, they are short, right? But they want to fight you anyway because they're sensitive to the touch. You said, you know what? You talk funny. They want to fight because they talk, to them, you talk funny. You might have an accent from a different country or a different, part of the country, right? So now they want to fight because it's sensitive to the touch. And see, even though we said, I'm proud of who I am or where I came from, that's cool. But why are you proud? I mean, are you walking in pride? Is it pride that you are in? Or is it that the fact that you're proud that you come from the South or from the North or from the East or West, or whatever it may be? But see, when we have this pride, we're sensitive and we're very sensitive people. Don't say nothing about my shoes. Don't say nothing. That's why I got the name brand shoes on. See, that's why I got the name brand car. Don't say nothing about my car, because I had to ride the bus when I was a kid growing up. In my car, see, we had a raggedy car. So you saying something about my car? I got the new car. I got the new year car. See, you see my car out there. That's why I got to tell you about my car all the time. See my car? Look at my car. Look at my car. Nobody even asked about your car. But because you haven't got healed from the pain and you sensitive to the touch, so someone said, I don't like the color of your car. You ready to fight? Well, you need to get a car like mine. Because of the fact you're sensitive to the touch, because you haven't dealt with some hurts that you have had in the past. And so the longer we go doing things like that, now we got all these things. See, because the longer you live, the more stuff that come up. The more people you deal with. See, when you're 10 years old, you got your circle is really small. But we're just using the fact you have a mama, daddy, sister, brother, grandma, grandpa, whatever, right? Your circle is pretty small. As you get older, your circle gets bigger, right? You might get a job here, so you got 3 or 4 or 5 people in that circle. You go to a church here, you got 10, 15 people at that circle. You got a little community neighborhood, you got 3 or 4 people over there. So you get all these people in your circle, so to speak, because of the fact that you have grown. And the older you get, the more people start being introduced or invited into your life just because you're living life. Well, because of that, and you got all these people walking around with a lack of love, and so because of that, now you have a bunch of issues going on with people. Why people don't like me? Why the tall people don't like me? Why the short people don't like me? Why the black people don't like me? The white people don't like me? So now you got all these different issues going on. Why all the women don't like me? I know why they don't like me, because I look better than them. That may be true, right? Because they may not like you because you look better than them. But these are the issues that we go through. So now the next group of women you see, you said, see, that's why I don't like them with women. Now, what, you haven't even met these women yet. These might be better women than the group that you came from, right? But because I had this situation happen to me 2 or 3 times, and I didn't deal with the hurt that they gave me, talking about my breast size or lack of it, my hip size or the lack of them, right? My hair length or the lack of it, right? Since I'm sensitive to the touch now, I got to show you that I got all this because I got money now to buy me a booty, right? I got money now to buy me breasts, right? So I'm gonna show you all that I'm worth something. Nothing against people that want to do that, but why are you doing it? Who opinion are you living under? Who conclusions are you living with? See, and if you love yourself a lot more, then again, the opinions of other people will phase you less, right? It doesn't mean that somebody say something, hey, you ugly. I don't say you jump up and down, start saying, ooh, that's what I hope out here today. I'm ugly, right? I'm not saying you start smiling and teasing, but what it would do is keep you from away from those people that do those things. Now, this is what ends up happening, right? Hopefully, I'm not moving too fast for you. But all this information is in the book too, so you can purchase the book. So here's what this does for you, because when you deal with enough people and you start living life, one thing that's very apparent that you're gonna have to experience is this thing called rejection. Oh my God. Don't none of us want to mess with no rejection, man. We prideful, we hurting and everything. And we probably hurting because we got rejected. And then somebody reject us. Man, some of us can't take rejection at all. Oh my God. Rejection. Some of us are just we just kind of like submit ourselves to get rejected again. Right? So let's look at rejection for a moment. Reject, it's two words pretty much. And RE means again or back. So when you see the word, the letters RE in front of a word, the prefix, it means again or back, right? And jack, excuse me, means to throw. So when you put it together, rejection is to throw back, right? So when people reject you, in most cases, they're throwing you back into the hurt that you had before. This is why we, afraid, some man afraid to talk to women. Why? Because the last five women told me no, they don't want to go out on a date with me, right? So if I talk to her, she gonna tell me no again. Same thing with a woman. They say, hey, I'm not talking to that guy because the last five guys rejected me. So we go through life because of the rejection that we have experienced through so many other people, and we transfer this rejection that we have to every area of our life because we love ourselves less. Just because a person rejects you don't mean you need to love yourself less because they reject you, right? And here's the thing that this is why I talked about last session, why it's so important to have forgiveness, right? Because people gonna reject you because a lot of times people don't forgive people. And they can be nice people, but they don't forgive mama. They don't forgive daddy. They don't forgive boyfriend. They don't forgive girlfriend. They don't forgive nobody. They don't forgive older brother, younger sister. They forgive nobody, right? So in that case, rejection is what they do. We may use it as I just cut people off. I just cut them off. I mean, they do me wrong one time, boom, I cut them off. Not realizing we have a forgiveness problem. Not realizing that and usually people that cut people off quickly and they act like they brag about it, usually these people don't forgive people at all because they always think they're right. They always think they right about everything. That's why they feel like they can cut everybody off. But when they do something wrong in their mind, which is never, you did something wrong, they really do anything wrong. You did something wrong. You just trying to make it seem like they did something wrong. They can't apologize. They have a hard time doing that. And see, when you start loving yourself more, one thing that you don't want to happen to anybody, you don't want anybody to feel rejected. And when I started loving myself more, I started doing what I could to avoid people feeling rejected. Now, I'm not perfect now, no one is, right? But if I had the opportunity to make amends, I always try to do it. Now, when people don't know how to accept apologies, when they don't know how to forgive, they won't even forgive you. Now, but that's out of your jurisdiction. You can't make a person forgive you, like you can't make a person love you. You can't make a person accept an apology, and you can't make a person apologize. You can't do any of those things. This is all about you. You can make you do all these things, and when you love yourself more, you can do these things for more people. So when you reach out to people, see, I had this problem at one time, and I had to get better at working with myself. So self-esteem is not something you do one time and don't work with it anymore. I work with my self-esteem every day. Every day I tell myself I love me every day, right? And I know I have two lovely children and everything. I know they love their dad, but I don't talk to them every day. I don't see them every day. So, they don't tell me they love me every day. Not that they don't tell me. We just may not talk. We may not see each other that particular day, right? But I tell me I love me every day because I don't wait on anybody to tell me that they love me. I don't wait on someone to, I don't wait on hearing that. And I suggest you do the same thing. But what they helped me do, they helped me love more people that was connected with me more. Now, obviously, I have different relationships with different people, right? So it's not like the relationships are still all the same, but I always try to share the love that I have with people in any capacity that I can. Now, some people may say, I don't like you loving me because you have to understand this a lot of times. sometimes people, and I shared this with you before, all of us need love. You need it, I need it. We all need love, not just one day out the year. We need love every day out the year. All of us do, right? And sometimes people don't, they need love, but they don't want it from you. They want it from him or her or them or those, right? They don't want it from you because of the fact of the lack of love that they have for themselves. Because I'm not just saying you just go around, because see, when you have a lack of love, you think anybody loves you. Somebody look at you for 10 seconds at one time, you think they gotta love me. They love me. I know they do. I know they do. Right? So I ask you for directions and everything in the grocery store. They love me. I know they do. Look how she looked at me. No, that just means they were lost in the store. Right? That's what they mean, right? So you can't just take because you're love starved. Once you start loving yourself, you know what love looks like. You start treating yourself better and you start doing the best you can to love other people and treat them better too. And the less you love yourself, you treat yourself worse and you put yourself in these 3-foot rooms, right? Waiting on somebody to treat you bad again. See, I was notorious at that at one time. I would I share with you all before. I let people say what they wanted to about me and everything, and I'm still hanging around. These people verbally abusing me and everything. But it didn't matter. I'm gonna show you how tough I am. But it did matter because it was affecting my self-esteem. It was actually putting me in this place where at one time I thought, hey, why would anybody want me? Everybody reject me. Why would anybody want me? So I just didn't think nobody wanted me. Now, see, I know that may sound strange to some people, but the whole lot of people walk around the planet think nobody want them, which is not true. But when you start being around people that love themselves less and you love yourself less, you're going to find the people that can abuse you because you're abusing yourself. You're going to find the people that can talk bad about you because you talk bad about yourself. Right? You think little of you, you're going to find people that think little of you too. So this is why it's imperative that you think more, love yourself more. And now it's not haughty, it's not vanity, right? Because we already talked about pride. And you can have this pride, and all pride signifies is that you hurt. You a hurt person walking around here trying to seem like a big bad wolf, right? But you a big bad wolf with no teeth. See now, so you've seen a big bad wolf with no teeth. I don't know how scared you'll be of a big bad wolf with no teeth. See what frightened you about the wolf is the teeth. If they don't have any teeth, you're probably not scared of them. Then you probably you want to tussle with them. But that's how you look when you have a lot of pride. You big and bad. You got the little furry coat on and everything. You can growl, make the sound, but you don't have no teeth. You can't. You don't have no bite. And when you try to bite and everything, it's always venom. It's always talking, trying to belittle people to make yourself look good. But see, when you love yourself a lot, you try to put yourself out of those situations and keep yourself out of those situations with people that don't love themselves a lot and don't want to love themselves a lot. So you're not trying to be haughty. You're trying to be humble. Now, let me try to clear something up with humility, right? Humble is a good thing. Some people think humble and being humble and humility, they think it's weak. Oh, that person is weak because they're humble, right? No, no. Humility, let me just share something with you. The word humility, in some forms, in some languages, is the word ground. That's what it means, ground, right? The word that's the exact same word in that word in some languages, the word human. See, so here's the reality. It is not natural not to be humble. Human and humble is the same word. So see, all it means is that you're grounded. It don't mean that you're below ground. Humility is what means that you are above the pain that you have. When you have pride, that means you are below the pain that you have. You're under the pain. But when you're humble, that means you over the pain. See, and this is why a lot of people can't get over anything because see, they all prideful and everything. This will never happen to me again. I'm never gonna let a woman do that to me again, or a man do this to me again, or this type of person do this to me again. This will never happen to me again, right? Because I'm gonna make sure all y'all pay because of the fact of what someone else has done to me before, right? Now I'm not saying what they did to you was right. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that because see, this is one thing you have to understand. You need to accept yourself and need to accept the fact that things have happened. I didn't say agree with the things that happened. Somebody took advantage of you as a 12-year-old child and everything. You don't agree with that and say, oh, that was a good idea. No, 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 no. Somebody scammed you out all your money at 28 years old because they got some great, you know, money making venture and they take all your life savings and everything. You don't start agreeing with that, like, yeah, that was a good idea. I'm glad they took all my money out of the account. No. However, you do need to accept the fact that those things have happened, not agree with the fact that those things were good that happened, right? When they're wrong. So once you do that, now that means because you're accepting yourself more. Self acceptance is one of the key ingredients to help you get past self rejection. If you can't, because you can't control somebody rejecting you, right? And again, I would say I was notorious with this. I would try to reach out to people and they're still rejecting. I'm like, dang, why they rejected me? I thought we were cool. But then I realized some people don't want to be bothered with you. And you guess what? That is personal. I know because I won't make excuses for people when they did that. Like, oh, I'm not gonna take it personal. They just having a bad day, and that's true. Because sometimes people be going through certain things in their life. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know if they're going through the fact of an illness themselves. They may have a family member that's ill. That's the death of a loved one. I mean, all these things are going on with you and I and all these different people on the planet, right? So sometimes people are in a space where they're in their space. I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about a situation where people you deliberately call somebody or deliberately reach out to somebody and say Merry Christmas, and then they act like they didn't see you or he'll get your call. That's what I'm talking about with rejection, right? When you go out there and you say hi to them, when you in your church, you say, "Hey, brother so and so, sister so," and they walk by you like you didn't say a word. Oh yeah, see that's what I'm talking about. See that's personal rejection. That's personal against you, right? So you can't make an excuse and say, well, maybe it's not personal. No, it is personal, right? Now, that doesn't mean you love yourself less because they have a personal thing against you. You see what I'm saying? Now, whatever their reason for being personal with you is their reason. You can't make them say, hey, you shouldn't be treating me that way. Hey, if people don't like you or don't want to like you, guess what? That's their prerogative. They don't have to like you. There's no law saying everybody got to like you. And there's no law saying that you have to like you. But you still need to go through this life learning to love yourself. And the more you love yourself, what it would do too, it would help you get past rejection and it'll also help you like you some more too, right? Some of us walking through this life, we don't love us. Again, I told you when 20 something years ago, I had to ask myself, do you love you, man? Because you letting this happen to you and you letting this happen to you, letting people talk to you this way and treat you this way. Man, do you love yourself? What's going on? And I had to pause and ask myself, I don't know. Because, that's what worried me. Because maybe I didn't love myself like I should have. Because I was allowing some things to happen to me that wasn't good. But I realized for years I allowed people to talk to me that way. I allowed people to treat me that way. Not that I was weak, I just loved myself less, and I kept myself, and I found those people to love me less, right? But then I found some people to love me more, and I didn't know how to handle. I didn't know what to do. What are you doing all that love? That's when I realized, see, this was issues with myself that I had to solve. These were issues that I had to figure out myself. And what was it with me that was having me act like that? Even when good people stepped into my life, I didn't know how to handle it, right? Because hey, do they love me or not? Because I had so many other people step into my life that weren't good people, right? And they mishandled me. So now all I did was took what happened to me, mishandled me. I started mishandling people, right? Because that's what we do when we love ourselves less. The more you love yourself, again, remember what I said. The more you love you, the more love you have for you, the more love you have from you. And so when you have more love from you, then you can love other people in your life more and more and more. And this will keep you because one of the games that we get good at when we love ourselves less is again, I said this in session 2, we play the blame game. We blaming everybody. We blaming mama. We blaming daddy. We blaming sister and we blaming brother. We blaming son, daughter, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend. We blaming everybody we can because of where we are and how we feel about ourselves. Right? Until we get to the point where say, you know what, I don't want to play the blame game. Because all you need to play the blame game, probably the most popular game on the planet. Right? So many people play it, man. It's like, it's like it doesn't get filled up. When they go on some of these electronic games, they say, man, you only got room for 10 players. Blame game that everybody play, right? Everybody can play blame game anytime you want. You can wake up in the middle of the night and say, I want to play blame game. And you can play it, right? Early in the morning. I think I'm going to play the blame game today. It doesn't care what day. It'll let you play the blame game all day. There's a spot for you if that's what you want to play. Well, you have to get to the point. This is why you have to accept yourself. This is why you have to love yourself. This is why you have to make sure your opinion about yourself it supersedes anybody else's opinion about you to prevent you from playing and being a good or being an all-star at playing the blame game. You don't want to be a pro at playing the blame game. Because then you start blaming people all your life for everything. And now you're making excuses for everything. Why won't you get better? Well, you know what my mama did to me? When your mama do that to you? When I was 10. How old are you now? 50. Okay, well, see, I'm going to play the blame game. See, why you don't want to do this? Because I'm playing the blame game. You know what they did to me when I was in the military? What they do to you? Well, they didn't let me get ranked. Oh, what? So now I'm mad at everybody. How long you been out the military? 25 years. You still blaming the military? You been out 25 years? And this is what we do. Remember that girlfriend I had in college? Yeah. Yeah, see, it's her fault. That's why I'm playing the blame game. Well, that was 30 years ago when you was in college. But see, we still playing the blame game. And I'm not saying again those things were right. What I am saying is wrong for you to keep playing the blame game for the rest of your life because of something that happened 5 weeks ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, right? You can't allow yourself to play the blame game because here's the reality. Life is just too short to be blaming people because you don't want to love you. Life is too short, regardless if you live 100 years or you live 25. Life is just too short to be on this planet not loving you. It's long enough to love you, though. Now, you can't spend your life for 20, 30 years trying to hope people and think you're going to stalk people for them to love you. If people don't realize how valuable you are, right? It's okay because somebody will realize how valuable you are, right? You may be by yourself because there's a difference with being alone and being lonely. And when we love ourselves less, being alone is so heart wrenching to a lot of people because they're alone. And this is what gets us into so many we make so many bad decisions with again putting the wrong people in and putting the right people out of our lives. We got all these raggedy people in our lives because we need people around. Because see, if we can have more people around, it can distract us from the real issue that we have, which is ourselves. So if we have this husband or this wife or this boyfriend or girlfriend or this son or daughter or mama or daddy, if we have all these people around us, then we don't have enough time in our mind to deal with us. We don't have enough time in our life to deal with those issues that we have, those philosophies that we have that's hurting us because of the fact that I got to tend to my kids. I got all these babies. See, I got my grandbabies too, and I got all these people. I got to tend to my husband or wife and everything. See, they keep me busy. Yeah, see, that's what we use. And see, this is show you when we don't love ourselves a lot, we will use other people as a distraction. So we won't have to deal with ourselves. Meaning that we can't love them because they're a distraction for us, not something to help us deal with ourselves. And every person that comes into your life, hopefully this is how you want it to be. Every person that comes into your life, you want to hopefully they can help love you and you can love them. Whether it's friends, this is not just intimate because most of us, the only time we experience any type of love is when it's been intimate. If it hasn't been intimate, we don't know what love looks like, right? Unless it's intimate. And that's how we equate love to some intimate stuff, right? But loving yourself is not intimate. I mean, like that with someone else. You got to love yourself and know that you are a valuable person, that you're not here by accident, that you are needed on the planet. You may not be needed for everybody, but you're needed on the planet. And it's proof that you're needed on the planet because you're here. Now, see, your job is not to run around chasing people that don't think you that valuable. Your job is not to run around chasing people that don't think you need it on the planet. You need to find your 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 people that love you in their life and want you in their life to some capacity. If people are rejecting you, all they're doing is throwing you out their life. I know it doesn't feel good, but you do yourself more harm when you keep going back to those people because they've already proven to you 2, 3, 4, 10 times they're gonna throw you right back out their life. So why go back and send yourself through those feelings? Because you're gonna feel bad again. What's wrong with me? He threw me out his life. She threw me out her life. Every time I try to be nice to them, they throw me out their life. You're gonna feel bad again. So why would you walk up to the door that you know that you got thrown out of 25 times by the same person? Find you someone else that know what love is, as a friend, as a significant other, as a potential spouse, whatever it may be, or what a relative. So then that can help you love yourself more because life is too short to be running around here living in depression. Life's too short to be running around here looking in the mirror saying, what's wrong with me? Life's too short to be as drunk as you can because you're feeling bad about yourself. Life is too short to be as high as you can because you're feeling bad about yourself. Life is too short for all of that stuff. But it's long enough for you to love yourself, feel good about yourself, and then share what you have from you and give it to others. See, it's one thing in life that can't be taken from you. You can give away and keep at the same time. It's two. And I use this a lot of times when I talk to people that's, hang out with me. You can always give love to people and you don't lose any of it. See, I can give you this book, but I won't have this book at all. But I can give you that one. I have another one, but I won't have that one. See, love you can give away and keep at the same time. And the other things you can give away and keep at the same time is wisdom. I don't lose any wisdom by sharing it with you. I still got the same amount, right? So now I just shared it with you. I didn't have a decrease. Like, oh man, I shared so much love and wisdom with the people, at the stage and everything. I have less. No, you can give away as much love as you want and keep the same amount, right? And the more you give away, the more you're gonna get. That's just how the universe works, how the life works, whatever you want to call it. You give it away, you're gonna get more of it. That's karma working in the positive side, right? You love a lot of people, trust me, you're gonna get a lot of love. You might not get it from 100 people that you gave it to, but you might find 2 people that give you like $50 worth of love a piece, right? They give you so much love that those other 100 couldn't even compare, right? So this is why you need to love yourself more, love yourself a lot, because you are worth being loved, and you should be worth being loved to yourself. And then that puts you in a situation that if you treat yourself good, then other people are required to treat you better, treat you good too, if they want to be in your life. But you are required to treat them good if you're going to be in theirs. So I said a whole lot, but I got to get ready to close, and my time is winding down. So let me promote this guy again. Again, if you want to be promoted on the show, I hope you learned something else in this series. But if you want to be promoted on the show, you'll get with me, fullofpurposemedia@gmail.com, and then we can discuss it further. So I'm promoting again Mr. Emmett Farmer. Are you 65 and older or know someone who is in need of Medicare assistance? Mr. Emmett Farmer is a licensed life and health insurance producer and an independent insurance broker. He can be reached at 773-908-9425 or efarmer, the number 2, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. Mr. Emmett Farmer specializes in Medicare plans for seniors 65 and older. Also, if you are disabled and have Medicare, he can help you as well. He is licensed in the state of Illinois, Texas, and in the process of being licensed in many other states also. If you are 65 and older, and or if you will become 65 within the next six to 12 months, please contact Mr. Emmett Farmer to learn more about your available options as well. Again, for more information, contact Emmett Farmer at 773-908-9425. That's 773-908-9425, or efarmer2, EFARMER, the number 2, efarmer2 at ameritech.net. And you also get a free consultation by mentioning that you have heard about Mr. Emmett Farmer and his business on a Greater You show with the host, Dr. Anthony L. Gantt, here on IntellectualRadio.com, an iHeart station, the station that feeds your brain. So get in contact with him and get some help. So let's do a recap before I close. Keep in mind that you are worth loving. Tell yourself every day that you love you. You gotta tell yourself more than that. I know it's gonna seem a little strange at first, but hey, tell yourself that every day that you love you, right? And then have more love for yourself, so you can have more love from yourself, so you can give it to your children, your spouse, your significant other, your parents, your friends, so you can give them more love as well. Make sure that your God opinion about you is first, your opinion second, everybody else fall after that, right? And that's where you place people in that position. Don't put yourself in a position. You meet someone, they want to put you first and love you more than they love anybody else. You challenge them to make sure they put God first, then you them second, and then they can put you third or whoever else, right? But this is what you want them to do as well. Your opinion matter about yourself. Your mental stability matter about yourself. Learn how to forgive yourself and forgive others, right? The more love you have for yourself, the more love that will come from yourself. When you love yourself more, you'll love other people more as well. I hope you learned a lot in this series. I hope you stay tuned into the other series that we have as well. I do appreciate you being here. And as I close, keep in mind, great people like you were born great. However, you need to continuously work on yourself to become a greater you. And I'll see you next time.